Few television comedies have achieved the legendary status of Fawlty Towers. With only 12 episodes, the series managed to leave a mark that many shows with hundreds of episodes never achieve. It was bold, unpredictable, and filled with unforgettable characters. At the center of it all was Basil Fawlty, a hotel owner whose pride, frustration, and desperate need for approval turned ordinary situations into complete disasters. The show became famous for its sharp writing, brilliant performances, and perfectly timed chaos. But behind the laughter was a production filled with creative struggles, personal challenges, and one particular episode that continued to inspire discussions for decades. The story of Fawlty Towers is not just about comedy, it is about the people who created it, the experiences that shaped it, and the complicated relationship between humor and changing times. The real-life inspiration behind Basil Fawlty. The idea for Basil Fawlty came from an unusual place. During the early 1970s, members of the comedy group Monty Python stayed at a hotel while filming in England. The hotel manager, Donald Sinclair, behaved in a way that seemed almost impossible to believe. Instead of welcoming guests, he treated them with suspicion and impatience. His strange reactions, strict rules, and unpredictable behavior left a lasting impression on actor and writer John Cleese. Cleese saw something fascinating in this personality. Here was someone who was supposed to create a comfortable environment, but seemed determined to make everything more difficult. Years later, Cleese and Connie Booth transformed those memories into Basil Fawlty, a character who was not a copy of Sinclair but a much more exaggerated version of a man trapped by his own insecurities. Basil's anger, arrogance, and constant panic became the foundation of one of television's greatest comedic characters, the early life of John Cleese. Long before he became famous as Basil Fawlty, John Cleese was a young man discovering his passion for comedy. Born in England, he showed both intelligence and creativity from an early age. At school, he was known for his academic ability but also for his playful sense of humor. His love for writing and performance eventually led him to Cambridge University, where he became involved with the famous Footlights Comedy Club. It was there that he met several future comedy legends, including Graham Chapman. Their work together helped shape a unique style of humor that combined intelligence, absurdity, and social observation. Cleese's background in education and his ability to analyze human behavior became important elements in his later writing. He was not simply creating jokes, he was studying people and turning everyday frustrations into unforgettable comedy, creating the perfect disaster. When Cleese and Connie Booth began developing Fawlty Towers, they created a world where every small problem could become a complete catastrophe. Basil Fawlty was surrounded by people who constantly challenged his fragile confidence. His wife Sybil, played by Prunella Scales, had a calm but powerful presence that could immediately bring Basil back down to earth. Polly, played by Connie Booth, often became the person trying to keep the hotel functioning despite the madness around her. Manuel, the kind-hearted waiter played by Andrew Sachs, became one of the show's most beloved characters because his misunderstandings created endless confusion. Together, the characters formed a perfect comedy machine. Every episode followed a simple idea. Basil wanted everything to appear successful, but his own personality constantly stood in the way. A short series with a huge legacy. One of the most surprising things about Fawlty Towers is how little of it exists. The series only produced 2 seasons, with 6 episodes each. At the time, this was unusual because successful television shows were often expected to continue for many years. However, Cleese and Booth decided not to continue simply because the show was popular. They wanted to protect the quality of the writing and avoid repeating the same ideas. Their decision helped preserve the show's reputation. Instead of becoming predictable, Fawlty Towers remained a carefully crafted piece of comedy. Over time, audiences around the world discovered the series through reruns, and its reputation continued to grow. What started as a small British sitcom eventually became recognized as one of the finest examples of television comedy ever produced. The episode that created debate. Among all the episodes of Fawlty Towers, one remains especially discussed. The episode centered on Basil attempting to manage a situation involving German guests while struggling with his own memories, fears, and inappropriate reactions. The comedy focused on Basil's lack of awareness and his inability to control himself, showing him as a foolish character rather than presenting his behavior as something admirable. Many viewers appreciated the episode because they saw it as a criticism of ignorance and social awkwardness. However, others felt uncomfortable with certain elements and questioned whether some jokes had aged well. As society's views on comedy changed, the episode became an example of the ongoing conversation about how older humor should be understood today. The discussion surrounding it shows how comedy can remain powerful while also creating different interpretations across generations. The challenges behind the camera. The success of Fawlty Towers was built on enormous dedication from its cast and writers. Cleese and Booth worked closely together during a period of personal change in their lives, yet they remained committed to creating something special. The actors gave performances that required incredible energy and precision. Comedy often looks effortless on screen, but creating perfect timing requires careful preparation. Prunella Scales developed Sybil into much more than a typical television wife. She gave the character confidence, intelligence, and a unique sense of humor. Andrew Sachs brought warmth and charm to Manuel, creating a character who became an essential part of the show's identity. Behind every laugh was careful teamwork and a commitment to making every scene work. The careers that continued beyond Fawlty Towers. After Fawlty Towers, the members of the cast continued to build impressive careers. John Cleese became known for many other projects in film and television, proving his talent extended far beyond Basil Fawlty. He appeared in comedy classics and continued writing and performing for audiences around the world. Connie Booth eventually moved away from acting and developed a new professional path outside entertainment. Prunella Scales remained a respected performer, taking on many memorable roles throughout her career. Andrew Sachs continued acting for many years, becoming a familiar and admired figure in British entertainment. Although Fawlty Towers was only one chapter in their lives, it remained the project that connected them forever. Why Fawlty Towers still matters today. The lasting appeal of Fawlty Towers comes from its understanding of human nature. Basil Fawlty is not funny because he is perfect. He is funny because he is deeply flawed. He wants respect but struggles to earn it. He wants control but creates chaos. He wants people to admire him but constantly reveals his own weaknesses. These contradictions make him recognizable even decades later. The show also explores themes that remain relevant today, including social pressure, pride, embarrassment, and the desire to appear better than we really are. Great comedy often survives because it reveals something truthful about people, and Fawlty Towers continues to do exactly that. A legacy built on laughter and conversation. More than 4 decades after it first aired, Fawlty Towers remains one of television's most discussed comedies. Its influence can be seen in countless shows that followed, especially those built around flawed characters and uncomfortable situations. The series proved that comedy does not need a long run to become unforgettable. Sometimes a small collection of carefully written episodes can create a legacy that lasts for generations. While certain moments continue to inspire debate, the overall achievement of Fawlty Towers remains clear. It was a show created with imagination, intelligence, and a fearless approach to storytelling. It made audiences laugh, think, and continue discussing its ideas long after the final episode ended. That is the true sign of a comedy classic.